topic is going to be how to improve NFL viewership. This week was the first week in the NFL where viewership wasn't down from the same week from the year before. We're going to let Purvis start off with his ideas.
Yeah, NFL viewership is definitely down. I think one way that they could get more people to actually watch the game and even more casual fans is to speed up the game. That's been the biggest drawback with football in general is that it's one of the few games there's so much stoppage outside of the actual game. Like it's been proven that in an actual 3 hour game, you physically only run for 12 minutes. And that's the knock against other major sports is that there's no consistent flow for people to actually stay in tune with the sport. For me, I'm thinking in the NFL, they need to do away with kickoffs. It's not working. It's a waste of time, and it just keeps adding to a pause in the game. That I know that you have to have the TV time for a certain period, but the kickoffs are pretty much just adding time to a game, and you're losing like attention span because you're waiting so long. There's a commercial break before the kickoff and then a commercial break after the kickoff. Why are we just standing around the field for so long? Also, I think they should cut the play clock down. They have microphones in the helmets. Like it doesn't take that long to call the plays. They can maybe start the play clock a little earlier when the referees set it as well. Another thing I think they need to get rid of to make the game faster is a 2 minute warning. Same thing as with the kickoffs. Too many stoppage in the actual game. I don't mind having a certain period where you have to say, "Hey, we have to take a commercial break," because I know you have to get paid from those commercials for the league to make its money. But there's a ridiculous amount of it, which takes away from the actual viewing of the game. Like if you're at home and you're watching a football game, you know you have 3 hours to watch that game. You got to take all these bathroom breaks because you get tired of watching the same commercials after second or third one, anyways. Or if someone gets hurt, you're screwed because that's gonna add another 30, 45 minutes. If they get hurt in the middle of the field and don't get taken right off, that's another 30, 45 minutes. Well, I don't mind that for injuries for safety purposes, but what I can't understand is why I'm spending time watching a referee walk from one side of the field to the other side of the field to make a call and then pull his flag and be like, oh, actually, no penalty on the play. That can be expedited as well. Instead of having the referees make the calls on the field, have the referees in the boxes call down the penalties and get them going as fast as possible. Because some of these refs are in really good shape. I've seen some of them, they're kind of buff, but some of them are not in good shape, and it takes them a while, and they do a lot of conferencing, especially because people are saying that the refereeing is so bad right now. That conferencing they're doing on the field, I mean, I like hearing Gruden and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman talk their butts off, but if I'm at the game, I know that's just going to be a longer I have to sit there and watch people on the field. And that's another reason I think the viewership isn't going up is because there's just way too much stoppage.
I definitely agree. There's too much stoppage. I like some of what you're saying to an extent, and I kind of agree in a lot of ways. I think one thing that I've actually read in the last couple of weeks is finding ways to get creative with the advertisements. You don't really, especially these days, in my opinion, most of the commentary for a lot of NFL games just isn't good. It's not worth listening to anyway. Instead of having Troy Aikman and Joe Buck or Chris Collinsworth spend 30 seconds between, the kickoff team coming off and the offense going on the field, going out and talking about why they think this next possession is going to be great, that would be a good time to throw a advertisement for Budweiser, whatever the case, in the top right hand of the screen or something like that. Instead of us going completely to commercial, do something that you've seen on the Olympics or anything like any movie that does, uninterrupted broadcast brought to you by such and such a sponsor. That same type of deal, or just completely just do a advertisement or words at the bottom of the screen. We don't necessarily need to break the commercial because like Purvis said, if I know we got 2 minutes of commercials, I'm going to the bathroom. And I feel like advertisers know that. a lot of people aren't catching them. I think you have a better chance of catching someone's eye, seeing that advertisement while football is still happening or while the huddle's being broken, whatever the case, on the screen, than hoping that we stick around. I'm just comfortable on the couch and we'll watch a commercial between plays. I think that what you're saying about kickoff is 100% right. We go to commercial before and after. That's stupid. There's no point. There's no purpose. That's another time that we could, like you said, speed up the game. I don't necessarily like trying to shorten the play clock. That's just me, because it removes your ability to make, on-field adjustments. Obviously, know how the offense is becoming more popular, but I don't think that's necessarily something that we should expect to become the norm, and it also puts defenses at a disadvantage. The thing that I think definitely needs to happen, and you touched on it a little bit, there needs to be a change in officiating. Challenges take too long, and I know that everybody keeps talking about want to get it right, but we don't need to make such a dramatic thing about it. Them running off the field, going to this booth, spending an hour and a half sitting there looking at a play 45 times, and then running to the middle of the field. They got microphones, just like you said, the helmets do. They can do whatever they need to do from the sideline. We don't need to physically see them. I don't care what the referees look like. They get the call right. We can cut 45 seconds off with them doing it from the booth. I'm cool with that.
Look, y'all got some good ideas, man, and I don't want to be dismissive. I was a diehard football fan, and as a person who has just about stopped watching football, the product is just bad. Like, have y'all? And I hope that we talk about the NFL MVPs later. I think the fact that we're actually having a serious discussion about a running back as MVP tells us kind of what we need to know about the state of at least offense in the NFL. Have y'all seen the quarterbacks play this year?
What running back for MVP? What?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, well, I want to touch on that. Yeah.
I would say that the players just aren't as good. We touched a lot about how Aaron Rodgers has not been the same. I feel like that's part of it. Brady has been playing well, but he missed the first 4 games. But I think where it's really the difference is not necessarily the great players, but the players that, like, the mid-tier players. Have y'all watched the Jacksonville Jaguars game recently? Anybody?
No.
Yeah, every week I watch
terrible.
Them.
And Blake Bortles has got to be one of the least accurate quarterbacks I have ever seen in my life. Like, everybody looks at interceptions, but throwing the ball in the ground, overthrows, all of these bad plays, like, that's just as bad. Like, nobody wants to sit there and watch all of that all day, man. And I know my voice is raised and all of that, but it is absolutely terrible. Jay Cutler, bad. Like I mentioned, Blake Bortles is bad. Like, where are the quarterbacks? Like, I don't understand. And the NFL doesn't really market around single players, but they also put the emphasis on the quarterbacks, and you can tell that they do it. They protect them in the pocket. Cam Newton isn't as good as last year. The only really true good quarterbacks this year, Russell Wilson's been, for the most part, good. Matt Ryan's been pretty good. Tom Brady's been great. But Andrew Luck won't never on. Even as a Colts fan, like, Andrew Luck wasn't ever really on like most. I just think the players just aren't as good. I just think the product overall, and I agree with y'all, there's some things that they could do with the time, but I just don't think the players are as good, man. Like, I mean, you have a lot of miscommunications with the wide receivers and the quarterbacks. You got drop passes, just like, and then sometimes with the defense, you have comically bad coverages. Defenses appear to be afraid to press up because they know a penalty could be forthcoming. The fact that you can't celebrate, playing football is one of the hardest things that you can do. And if you score, you can't celebrate. You're gonna get a penalty? Nah, that's nah.
Turner took my point of view. What I was going to talk about, I was going to say it was the players route, which is what the NFL has taken. which is blaming it on the election. Beforehand, it was easy to blame on an election. You know, that was an easy scapegoat to go with. But after the election, this was the first week of games after the election, and viewership was up this weekend for these past games. Now, is that a credit to the election, or is it a credit to them actually having good games this week? So I think it's a little bit of both. But if you look at the statistics, they show that at every year when there's been a controversial election going on, viewership for all sports have been down. Like back when Al Gore and Bush were going, viewership for the World Series was down 22%. For all four major sports, that's MLB, MLB, they were everything was down. All viewership was down. So although I agree that terrible, and I attribute that more to what I've talked about before, is the CBA at this time and less physicality. That to college, the players not being prepared coming in college. But I think viewership, I don't think there's anything they can really do. I think the damn commercials all the damn time, and they're not even interesting commercials half the time. Same shit over and over. And then, like you said, a commercial right after you score a touchdown, commercial right after the kickoff. God forbid somebody get hurt, like you said. Then there's a commercial after that. It's too many commercials. You're paying all this money. I understand that, but come on, man. It's ridiculous at this point. You own everything. Jeez, just let the games go. And I think it has been because the horrible referees and officials this year. I don't notice the stats on it to say that it's been up or worse than years prior, but I'm willing to bet that it's a lot worse than it's been in years prior. If you go on the list, you look at last year, the year before, even go back the last 5 years, the referees have been terrible. And I think that's a huge reason why NFL viewership has taken a dip. The election being over, like I said, last Tuesday, I think it'll spike back up, back out. But you also got to take into account that there's so many ways of watching the games now. Live streaming it on Facebook and Twitter and all the social media. To that. So I'm interested to see how the stats stack up at the end of the year when they and see, was it really down or was it down?
I think the election definitely probably does play a part in it, but I also think I don't know if it's just me or recency bias or what, but it seems like we've had more bad games on TV this year than ever in recent memory. It seems like 2 weeks ago, and I talked about it with y'all 2 weeks ago. I didn't watch a full game because none of the games that were on TV in North Carolina were worth watching. It's hard to sit through, even as a football fan, and sit through 9 hours of bad football. You know, just to say that you're a football fan and you watch football all day. If I'm gonna watch 3 games, I don't watch 3 games that are actually worth watching, and it's just not something that seems to be possible anymore. There don't seem to be, I don't know if they're not picking the games well enough, and we're not at that point in the season yet. I guess we just got to that point where they're flexing games on TV. But if your 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 8 o'clock game are all terrible games, why sit through them all? By the time we get to 8 o'clock, if the 2 games I watched before aren't good, I'm doing something else with my day. So that plays a part. But obviously, like you spoke on briefly, the quality is definitely down. And that's part of why, and I won't get too much into it because that's another topic altogether, but that's why I hope they do a developmental league for the NFL just to get these guys some more time to practice. Or maybe the Dartmouth thing with the little tackling robots will take off and make its way to the NBA and the NFL as well.
Yeah.
I said, and I've been saying for the past couple of years that within 20 years, football will cease to exist. Like the topic of conversation anymore isn't much with the physical trauma, like the CTE and the concussions and things like that. a lot of it stemming there was just from other things like the actual quality of play, the rules, the time. Like, but I don't. One of the reasons I disagree with the time part of it is because, like, this isn't stuff that, and we've had a lot of discussions about football. Like, this wasn't even the main thing before, and I feel like it's a thing now, only because the quality of play is down. Like, will we really be fussing about the quality of play? I mean, the time and stuff, if the quality of play was better?
No.
I
I
would.
think I might still be, because I'm thinking from viewership. I'm thinking like the more casual fans who there's people who watch NFL football just because it's a tradition, but they're less likely to watch it if it takes up so much of their time. And I'm just thinking like there's a lot of casual fans who don't watch it because they're like, I'm not gonna commit 3.5 hours of my life to watching these guys stand around when I could be doing something. I know that's not diehard sport like NFL football fans don't care about the standing around. I don't care about them watching. I like listening to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman do their commentary. It's fun for me. I'm also in another country, so I just like hearing English. But but at the same time, like that, you can't get more viewers that way. Like there's people that don't know about football. They see it on the channel. They come back 3 or 4 hours later, and the people are still standing there. And they're like, "Yeah, that's just dumb. I'm gonna keep flipping." And you got some people who they know that okay, they just scored a touchdown, so I got about 10 minutes before I have to actually turn this back on. So I'm gonna change the channel anyways and watch some reality TV in between because there's so much time in between everything that happens. And I'm just thinking for those, that's what they're trying to do to get more viewers. You have to get more people who don't normally watch it. So you have to kind of cater to them a little bit. The people who love football, they're gonna watch football. Like you said, you might not watch all 3 games because the product isn't good, but you're gonna watch the first 2 games. I'm watching the Rams, I'm watching the Texans. As much as it hurts to watch both of them, I'm watching them because I'm a diehard fan. But you know who's not watching them? My wife. She gonna watch half of the first game and be like, I'm not gonna watch all these people ruin my fantasy football. And she gonna take her ass to sleep and go do something else. Those are the people that are bringing down the viewership. The diehard fans, they're not going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna watch all the football I can. But the people who don't care nearly as much, those are the people who are like, y'all need to change something. And the NFL, they're gonna have to change something eventually.
I mean, Brock Osweiler just threw for 99 yards on 27 passes? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I know he didn't do much of anything. I watched that whole damn game.
like I still trying to figure out who wants to watch that.
One.
I don't want to, but I do.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm like, okay, eventually Hopkins is gonna catch a 100-yard pass and boost some stats. Just don't happen.
No, I don't think so. But do you feel like there's
You gotta have hope.
casual fans this year? Like, I don't think that we have less casual football fans right now than we've had in the past.
But that's what I'm saying is that you got the same amount of casual fans, but they're watching even less. You have a certain. There's probably a formula too that they have with diehard fans, so we're catering to them, and we can get casual fans with this and that. But when the casual fans aren't watching and the diehard fans are watching less, that's when you get this viewership problem. It's a combination of the two. You're not the times of the games. I think hurts the casual fans.
I don't think
and the product hurts the more hardcore fans. Instead of me watching 3 games, I'm only watching 2. I'm not watching anybody besides Texans and Rams. I'll wait till the highlights the next day. I've seen enough Jaguars, Colts, AFC South games to piss off a lifetime.
And
every time I see them teams, I'm like, I'm just gonna watch the 2-second highlights of one team scoring and leave that alone.
And I think NFL Red Zone, like, you can just pop in, like with the direct TV, it'll pop up. They'll have it pop up just for your fantasy players. And with the increase in love for fantasy football, and then how Red Zone shows it when you're in the red zone, people don't have to watch the whole game anymore. We're a
Exactly.
society. We're a society where we want what we want and we want it now. So we're not going to sit and watch a whole game. If I have a fantasy football team, I have my direct TV subscription only pop up for and go to the games when my player's about to score or somebody I'm playing against is about to score. In the red zone, it'll have your favorite team and it'll show that you're about to score. So there's no reason to watch unless you really want to understand the nuances and intricacies of football. You're more than likely not going to watch all of that.
Yeah,
I think.
And I think on that as we look at the subscriptions for these different packages, for these cable networks. A lot of people are because it's too expensive, because there's so much to add on, cutting down watching the games as well. A lot of different ways of watching TV now, because a lot of people just don't watch TV as much anymore. They just get Hulu, or they just get Netflix, or they get Fox Go or HBO Go or something like that, or a Fire Stick.
Chromecast.
So many different ways to watch TV that people aren't going to just get subscriptions, pay $150, $200 just to watch these games, and then when you pay that much for the game, you see the games is bad too. Well, I'm gonna pay for bad games. So I think that has plays a part in it as well.
Fire sticks are awesome.